Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei Extras. Today we're a little quieter because it is currently 6 a.m. as I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule for holiday. Today we're going to be talking, first, it is Daily December, day number 7. We've made it a week so far. A week of daily uploads. Technically 8 days if you include the announcement of daily uploads or whatever I posted before. But yeah, a week in and no fails so far. But yeah, I'm recording this in advance as I'm likely going to bed somewhat soon, and I don't want to accidentally miss a day by not sleeping, by sleeping through the day. Either way, we're going to be talking about whether MCC is too competitive, because I personally think that's the case, but I've seen a lot of people say it's not. I'd like to present my case. But first, I'd like to say thank you all for the views for the past month or two on the channel. It's been great. I've managed to revive this channel by making it a commentary channel, which is nice. I'm very happy with it, and it's also making me a little bit of extra cash, which is always nice. Thank you. I don't do it for the money, by the way. If I did it for the money, I would put in a bit more effort. I'm doing this for fun. But yeah. This is more of a follow-up for my Future of MCC video, as I mentioned in the video, probably somewhere around here, in the new players thing, that there are two paths that MCC can take. They can either go the more mainstream route or the Minecraft route. And I read through some of the comments. Oh, it happens to be the top comment here. Someone said they don't want it to be more mainstream because the regulars will not get to play as much, and that is very fair. But I also think for the sake of the event, it is more interesting to go for a mainstream approach. But I can imagine that the audience will not be too happy with that. Either way, let's take a look at the teams from past MCCs. Here is example number 1, which is the most recent MCC, which was MCC 28. This was a strong season in my opinion. Every single team had at least 2 competent players, and then a mid player and maybe a lower player, or like Orange, 1 top player and 3 high mid players, which is really good. There is very few bad teams. Yellow team is good. They don't have a single bad player in my eyes. H-Bomb is H-Bomb, awesome dude, has potential for top 15, top 10. Cub Phantom falls both in the mid-range. Very strong teams. As you can see, the first place team, crazy team. Illumina, Tommy, Jack, Manifold, G, Nelly, very, very good team. And the second place team, surprised that they didn't get first, but the second place team is crazy. Puns, who's a top player, and then 3 higher mid-ish players. Sparkles, who I think got top 10, which fully deserved. Sneak, who barely missed out on top 10. And Jimmy, who I think got top half for the first time in a little while. Very, very well done, and also very strong teams. The balancing in this event was a little wacky, but I think that was not really the main focus. Either way, next example, MCC 24. This is the event that I typically use as an example of some MCC events being very, very crazy good when it comes to teams. Orange team, prime example, same with yellow. These teams are disgusting. They are so strong. It is not fair. You have the JoJo Hannah team, but they get Amesy and Pearl, who are both decent, both capable of top half. Very good team. Aqua team here. Fruit and Joel is a crazy duo. With Cub and Scar is very strong. You've got Sapnap with Foolish, and then they get Sylvie, which is crazy. And it's just overall, these teams were very strong when I first saw them. Shows off again. MCC, very high skilled. Here's MCC 21 as an example. This one's a little bit of a weaker example. I think this is just balancing being a little wacky, but still. Dream, Tommy, Sylvie, Gumi as a team, getting 4th. Crazy. Illumina Phil on a team with Shelby and Elena, 7th. That's crazy. Crimson Kraken's getting 9th. Crazy. Here you have Fruit and Joel again. They get Fwip and Rendog, which is very good. Sapnap and Callum, which is a good duo, together with Zeus and Sniff, which is very good. And then obviously this blue team is disgusting. Having Jack Manifold as your worst player automatically means that your team is insane. Basically, it is crazy. Do I have another example? All right, here's Underdogs, which is what I would like to see from MCC balancing, which I assume is not a popular opinion across the general MCC community, but this is what I like to see the most. Not even necessarily the players, but the balancing, because it allows for lower skilled players to make, there's more room for them to make cool plays or do really well. And top players are used to being good. It's kind of a win-win. It's not really a full win-win because it means that certain players don't get in every single time. But I also think that's a benefit to some extent because MCC rosters have been getting a little boring, in my opinion. Either way, funnily enough, I actually made teams with one of my friends for a hypothetical return for MCC 29 or whatever the first event pack is. Obviously, these are not going to happen, but if they were to happen, that would be really, really cool. You might go to these teams and be like, unbalanced, blah, 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 whatever. They are most certainly unbalanced. They were not meant to be fully balanced. They are just examples of what I like to see. Primarily, I really like this Lime team, a full Hermits team. I think this is Botum. I could be wrong. I don't recall if Impulse was on it. I think it was either Impulse or B-Dubs, or both. I'm pretty sure this is a Botum team. I did like a tiny bit of research. This green team is fire. This cyan team is sick. I love this aqua team. Obviously, I will always root for my bestie. I will always root for Shane to get in. I think this would be a sick team for him. Very good vibes. And pink team might be one of my greatest masterpieces I have ever made, ever. This team goes so hard. This team is insane. I think red team is a Misfits team. I don't recall if Snifferish is part of Misfits. They might be. But yeah, this is an example of what I would like to see for the first MCC back. This would be extremely hype. It would be very cool. It would be sick. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But do I want it to happen? Yes. Here is the same group of people, kind of, with a few exceptions. The red tier is people that I think are typically seen as the good players or the strong players. There's some people in this tier list below that are also good players. I think Impulse should be there when Bekyamon is there. I mean, Gurian, Bad, False, Gem, Shelby, Ollie, Wilbur a little bit. He kind of fell off. Sorry, Wilbur. Kara could definitely make it. Jack could definitely make it. Fwip, he hasn't been in events recently, so he could make it there too. Jimmy, Pearl, Scar, Gumi. Obviously, Timmy and John and Box could maybe qualify in like Toast. It's a little unsure. Vic hasn't played, but he probably would be able to do well. My main point is, look at how many good players there are. Look at how many there are. These are all like people that I think typically would get top half. Now, in this tier, there's, I think, 38 people. So if half of them get in, that is your top half basically filled, which leaves the bottom half for these people. But typically, I think from my perspective at least, like 60% of the people in the top tier would probably get in, with the rest being filled by the people left in the bottom row, which to me is a little strong. Ideally, to me, you have a little less than half of the people be from the top tier. Like, personally, I don't even want there to be 10 S tiers or like 1 S tier per team. As you can see from these teams, Callum, borderline S tier, Joel, borderline S tier. Sparkles, I think, would be considered like a tier. I personally don't give a single crap about what tier anyone is. But for the sake of making the discussion, I assume Sparkles would be considered A tier. Pearl probably A-, maybe B+, maybe B. Tommy borderline S tier. 5-up is like A tier or A plus or probably something. Fru is an S tier. Phil is like A plus probably. Shane is probably S tier, but I assume the Reddit is not calling him S tier because he's only played one event. Foolish is like a or A plus tier probably. You notice there's only one actual S tier. That is crazy, and I love it. That is what I want to see. I know it's a little crappy because you miss out on a lot of cool people being in. I mean, Antfrost, Sapnap. I mean, JoJo wouldn't be in. Lumina, H-Bomb. You know, all these cool people. Puns, Purpled. They would all not be in. Harvey, Pete. Like, yeah. I mean, it would be unfortunate, but this is what I would like to see. This is the type of balancing that I would get excited about. Even if it's like once every 3 events, just having this sometimes would be cool. Even if MCC goes, let's hypothetically make this the formula for future MCC events. You do regular balancing, which is like what I mentioned here, 50% top tier, 50% bottom tier. You do underpowered balancing or underdogs balancing, which is like 30% top tier maybe, or like however much it is here, like this basically as an example. And then you do like a OP one for the community, because the community would eat that up. They would love that, which is like 75% of the top players here, or like 80%, and the rest is filled with the bottom row. Literally, let's see, if this is 38, oh, that would be a little over the top, but let's say hypothetically, to finish this, all right, you got to put Shelby and Wilbur in. That would be your roster of people. Obviously, they're not going to do this because this is ridiculous, but you get my point, right? And then for non-canon events, depending on what the non-canon event is, you would just swap out one of the 3 options. Ideally, like if it's like Rising, you probably take out the OP. Rising would either be the neutral or the OP one that you would take out of or like replace. Underdogs obviously would be the lower one. Though I don't think they would do underdogs again this year or in 2023. They might do another All Stars, depending on who wins. But we'll see. Either way, to get back to my point, which is MCC too competitive? As I just proved to you by how many good players there are, yes, in my opinion, it is too competitive. My main concern is the candidates that you have to be added to MCC are mostly players that I think are all decent. There's a few outliers who are not great at the game, but I think generally most players that they can add right now are good. Like Wally Bear. I think Wally Bear is one of the top people that the community would like to see that is likely to get in. There's still Hermits left. They're like in the middle range. You have, hypothetically, a Lifesteal member could join, like a Radoons, maybe. Shane could still return. You could see Mysticat or myself potentially joining the roster. But that's another 2 good players that would be added. It's just a case where if you keep having, if your only candidates that are Minecraft creators are good players, and you keep adding those people, like even like Booster, right? You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna have like 15 S tiers, which would basically result in how old testing was. And old testing was fun, but to the lower players, it was not. It was fun as a good player because we used to make teams of 4 just with our friends, and our friends tend to be good players. But as a lesser skilled player, I imagine that it's not very fun to see basically this orange team every single time. I would cry. So yeah, that is that. Sorry for being very quiet this video. I like I said, it is 6:46 a.m. It is very late or very early, depending on how you want to take it. I think this video will probably be scheduled instead of me posting it and immediately being online. So I am excited to see your comments and your thoughts, and make sure to leave those in the comments down below. I will see you again tomorrow. I think tomorrow's video is OP Teams edition. I could be wrong. I have it planned out a little bit. I think tomorrow's video is OP MCC Teams. So yeah, I hope you're all excited for that, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.